Arrow.net. It's where a lot of people go to pick up on their rock and roll. That sound old-fashioned? Nah, we just like to rock. We like to talk. ARROE.net. Let's do it. Let's play it forward. These are real people, real stories, the struggle to play it forward. Episode number 523 is with Rachel Bolan from Skid Row.
I'm doing great, man.
I got to tell you, this new album, oh my God, you guys are really proving that rock has a staying place, and as underground as it may feel right now, this is the one that people are really going to embrace.
Thank you very much, man. We're so proud of this record. We worked long and hard on this for sure, and to see the responses and hear the responses that we're getting, it makes you feel like all your hard work is paying off, you know.
Well, you take the song Time Bomb, and I mean, you can hear the craftsmanship in it, and then you put it into the video and stuff, and you find yourself going, oh my God, this is an anthem. I could truly get into this in that form.
No, that's cool, man. Man, you're checking all the boxes for what was going on in our head, you know.
Did you go into the studio all at once, or was it something where you're laying it down track by track?
Well, working with Nick Raskulinecz, we did things a lot different than we usually do. We're used to laying down the drums, then laying down bass, then each guitar going in separately. Well, we were all in the control room while Rob was recording drums, but we were all playing at the same exact time. So once we got the drum track, believe it or not, Nick wanted the rhythm guitars on second.
Really?
So, yeah, and the way he did it, Scotty and Snake were facing each other while they played their rhythm tracks live, which was, I thought was the most, well, it's unique to us because we've never done it like that before. But the fact that he just got that live feel where they're both like staring at each other and playing off each other. And then I came in and did the bass after that, and which was so odd for me hearing guitars on the track, but I think it really made a lot of my bass lines come to life because it made me approach it from a completely different mindset. And then, then the vocals came later, which Eric was in Stockholm while he was doing his vocals. So that was really remote, you know.
When you put a thing like this together, I wish more listeners had the opportunity to see how songs are built. They would respect it even more. But when you're in that studio and you're hearing, let's say, the rhythm section go first, I mean, it's got to be one of those things where I'd be the type of guy that would go over in the corner and write it and sit there and say, God dang, this is something that needs to be captured.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was such a unique experience for us the way it was done, and I think it gave a lot of the music more energy and just gave it more of a live feel.
Yeah, maybe that's one of the reasons why I really dig the song "Sheer Heart Attack." I mean, there's such a punk edge to this song, and it sounds so fresh, and it really does. And it gives you that kick in the ass.
Are we talking about "Not Dead Yet"? I'm not sure. Sure.
Well, I mean, in other words, it's one of those songs that really kind of just vibrates you when you get it, and so there's parts of this album that really have the kind of like a punk attack to it.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know, we like I said, just having those guys facing each other while they were playing was something I think that really helped illustrate the point you were just saying, that real just aggressiveness and punk feel to it. Yeah.
Well, don't you think that's what's missing from a lot of the music today? So much of it is so formatic. It's like, okay, we got a formula, we got to do this. Okay, no, we're not going to harmonize on this. Well, the reason why is because research shows. But yet, as artists, you guys get to explore those new elements.
Well, we were never a band to test formulas or follow research,
right?
Results. So it's hard for me to say what's missing and what's not. We just know the way that we do it, and it's worked for us for 30 some odd years.
Being back out there on the road again, what is that vibe like? Because I mean, it's one of those where it's like, okay, we had to go through the silent period, but now it's like a rejuvenated sight and sound.
It's been great. Ever since Eric joined the band, he has brought a new energy that was missing for a long time. And having someone with the same work ethic, the same ridiculous sense of humor, the same musical influences, and the fact that he's just a lover of music in general, like we are, it really was a seamless change, and we get out on stage and his energy has elevated us, the four of us. Just like when Rob Hammersmith joined the band, it brought Scotty, Snake, and myself. It raised the bar for playing, for musicianship. And then, in walks Eric, and he just lights everybody on fire. And it's been great. Touring has been great. The crowds have been great. No one has looked at Eric sideways because they can't. You know what I mean? He's done such a fantastic job and continues to.
It's almost like, I always when I see new members of bands and stuff like that, I always go, he's there for a reason. We've lived this life before. He knows exactly what's going to be happening.
It seems like, yeah. I mean, he's a little bit younger. I jokingly say that we waited for Eric to graduate high school so we could get him in the band, but he just has an energy about him, man, that's so undeniable, and it's infectious, and it lights all of us up.
See, and that's what's really cool about that is that I love the way that classic rock radio stations now are starting to play second generation classic rock, which really opens up the door for the younger musicians to say, well, I want to be a part of that band. I only got those guys on the new rock radio stations. Well, now you guys are on the classic rock stations.
Yeah, it's funny when I hear us on classic rock stations, but I also hear us on a lot of just the AOR stations and whatnot, and it's cool. It's great, man, to still have a song from our past on the radio for so long, and now starting to hear new stuff back on the radio. I can't even describe the feeling being around, having a career that has spanned, the better part of 35 years, and for people to be paying attention the way they are now, it doesn't get lost on us, not for 1 second.
Yeah, because the way that you guys write music in the first place, and maybe it's just my crazy self, but what I like to do is I like to take a song that is older, but make it a modern song in my heart, in the way that I don't want to live in the past. I'm going to make this a song of my present.
Yeah, we really didn't make a conscious effort to write to try to sound like anything. We just wrote songs, and there was a pile of songs that didn't make it. This is where Nick Raskulinix, our producer, stepped in, and he was a fan before he was a producer, so he helped us retrace our steps, which is a lot harder than it sounds. When you've been around for over 30 years, you're not the same 21, 22-year-old kid that wrote the first record, obviously, but he has that photograph in time in his head of how he felt when he first heard the first Skid Row record and when he first heard Slave to the Grind. And he helped us retrace our steps and, okay, you used to write like this, do this more, because we brought in songs where he just said, that doesn't sound like Skid Row. And you really have to put your ego in your back pocket with Nick, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. It was needed for us to sit there and say, okay, he's a fan. We need to connect with people just like Nick, a lot of people just like Nick, and he helped us do that. And I think we're better players, and we're, the songs, he took really good songs and made them really great songs. And it's, just by seeing the reaction of everyone that's heard anything off the album, it's he is really good at what he does, and he took us to a great place to approach our songs.
Man, you just gave me a flashback of times that I've been in the studio and you're dropping vocals and you look over at the engineer and through that glass and you're going, oh, I'm off, but you trust those engineers so much.
Mm-hmm. We put a lot of trust in Nick, like all of our trust. And, we're with the exception of Eric and Rob, we're in our 50s, and we're really close to what we do. And to put your trust completely in songs that you've created, to put your trust 100% in someone is a big thing for us. And we did it, though, without hesitation. And because Nick is just a creative force. He knows what's good. And like I said, you just got to kind of check your ego and say, all right, he is right. And he was right. He was right. Every decision he made was right. And there were a couple things where we're like, we're not sure about this part. And he's like, well, give it give it a little more shot. Give it one more shot if you don't like it. And then we play it, and we'd either, you know what, dude, you're right, or he's like, you know what? Yeah, get rid of that part. I see what you're saying now. And which is great because he's open-minded. He's open-minded.
Man, I'm just glad you guys give yourself permission to continue to make music, and because you're a major part of the history of this nation as well as around the world, dude.
Well, thank you, man. That means a lot to hear that. I really, really appreciate that.
Well, please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
You know it, man.